Well, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? How you feeling after the red dribble that happened yesterday? Yeah, how about that? This brings a number of things to my mind. Let's put this in historical context. Now, historically, in the first off-year election, the party in power, the one that holds the presidency, that party will lose an average of 28 seats in the House and 4 in the Senate. It looks like they're going to lose, the Democrats going to lose a few in the House and maybe none in the Senate. How can that happen? How could that happen under somebody like Biden? How could that happen under such horrible circumstances with the economy, with the open borders, with inflation, with a looming war, with the hatred that has been fomented amongst Americans? How could there not have been the red wave everyone was talking about? I believe because there's a fundamental shift in the country. Do you remember that sometime back I said, don't be so sure that Biden won't be reelected? Let's go back and look at Obama. His first off-year election, he lost 60-some seats in the House. 60. He was reelected. I also talk about Clinton. I said nobody thought he could get reelected. Things were so bad. He was reelected. How did that happen? I also said, don't be surprised. Don't be sure that Biden won't be reelected. And now I'm even more sure. People will say, how can they run this guy? He's a stuttering, duttering fool. Have you ever really watched any of his speeches? He really takes it out to his base. Yeah. Is he against everything we believe in? Yes. Yes. But he is effective with his people. People can make fun of him all they want to with his ice cream cones and not knowing where he is and all that. It doesn't matter. Whether he's running it, whether he's being run, it doesn't matter. They're getting the job done. And this poses some great dangers for our country. Trump, I think, has shot himself in the foot. You saw mine the other day when I said Trump stopped being an ass, right? And I talked about how he was making fun of Ron DeSantis and his name. Look what happened to DeSantis down in Florida. He wiped him out. Here's a guy who keeps his nose to the grindstone, who does what should be done, okay? And he just, what did he win by? Almost 20 points, something like that, okay? Trump up in that rally up there where he talked about J.D. Vance kissing his ass. And I said, watch it. Watch it. These people are going to remember this. You think you're being funny. You think you're being a hard-ass New Yorker. People outside of New York see that as unbecoming behavior. They see it as rude. They see it as insulting. And if you're a smart guy, you got to understand how what you're saying is being received. So Vance won, and when he was up there thanking everybody who helped him, guess who he left out? Trump. Trump backed Oz, a ridiculous candidate up in Pennsylvania who was beaten by a more ridiculous, or about to be beaten. They're still counting stuff, but hey, Fetterman's going to get it, I think. Trump has his announcement apparently next Tuesday. It's not going to be near the announcement it could have been. What's happened to our country? Here's what's happened to our country. They think that this political pendulum that's going right and left and kind of keeps us on an even keel. For a while it was that. That's because most Americans, regardless of what party they were in, they had some basic beliefs and ideals that they held in common. That's changed. There was no pendulum here. And where it's talked about that America has historically been a right-of-center country that occasionally votes left, I don't believe that anymore. I believe it's become a slightly left-of-center country, or at least so center that the wrong behavior from our side can kick it to the left. Okay. The people who are repulsed, who are repelled by Trump's behavior, he did great things. He did great things, in my opinion. Okay. But he's just putting too many people off, and part of politics is appealing to people. It's what Reagan did. That's what DeSantis has done. Trump appeals to the anger of people. Okay. But the angry people, the ones who are so disgusted with what's happening in our country, are not the ones deciding these elections. See, there's not enough of us to win the election. There's that big middle ground that we always fight over. And when you alienate them, you're going to lose. I think that the pendulum of American politics may have stopped. At least it's slowed down. And now we are seeing what might be a growing shift to the left. Now, what does this mean for us? It means that the last couple of years are going to continue for 2, 6 more years, maybe more. If this is what's happened to the American electorate, that's where we're going. There's a lot of different reasons for this, and I'll talk about more of these individually. I couldn't cram it all into today's. But I want to tell you about a phone call I just got to wrap this up. Got a phone call from a friend who was, disgusted with the outcome of the elections, obviously. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe what happened. And I asked him, "Did you vote?" He said, "Nope." He said he's become so disgusted with politics that he didn't vote. He just doesn't want anything to do with it. That's why we're going down this hill. That's why. So many people on our side. I get the comments here, more on the other channel, but I get comments here. If you still think that voting matters, you're nuts. Politics is all crooked. It's all selected, not elected. It's all this, it's all that. I don't vote because I'm disgusted with it all. My guy didn't win, so I'm not voting anymore. Do you realize it's only our side that says that? And so for this election and for the last election, I will lay these losses at your feet. Those of you who said that. Those of you who complain. If you didn't vote, what are you complaining about? If you didn't vote, you should be ashamed. You shouldn't even want anybody to know that you don't vote. That is one of the most basic, not just rights, but responsibilities of a citizen. You know who doesn't say that? The other side. The other side never says that. Never. They work and they yell and they scream and they work some more and they vote. And do you know what the result of that is? They win. But people on our side who like to think that they are so resilient, so tough, so self-sufficient, something doesn't go their way, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote. I've had it with politics. So what are you going to do? You just going to ride this dog down into the ditch, continue to live under worse and worse circumstances, and ensure that your children and grandchildren do too? I think some of these people just want to do that because it's easier to complain than to do something. Easier to complain. I think America now is truly past the point of it was never going to be an easy return. And whether it's past the point of no return, I will never say that. It's past the point to where our being able to come back from this is within reach over the next few years. I think this election sent it down. And it's because people on our side didn't work hard. They didn't, and that includes some of the candidates around here in Kansas. You'd be hard pressed for people around here to tell you who voted against the incumbent Democrats. Half of them don't know. You know why? Because people on our side weren't getting out there and making noise. Now, some were. Kerry Lake out in Arizona was making noise. Okay, J.D. Vance was making noise. DeSantis was making noise. A lot of people making noise. But too many races they weren't. Our side has become our side. I keep saying that only because they are closer to what I believe in than the Democrats. I think that here's what I think. I think the Republicans has finally shown themselves to be so weak that it's time to start a new, I won't say party because that sounds very, very, that's tough. Starting a new party is not easy. And third parties have not shown that they do very well. But what they do, they can have sometimes you can have more of an impact from the outside than from the inside. And by forming larger voting blocks, you can pressure those people. I'm not prepared yet to say how that should be done. But the Republicans have been too weak. Even if they get control of the House this time. You know what's going to be done with all these investigations that should be going on with Hunter and with Biden and with all these things? The FBI? Nothing. Under a weakling like Kevin McCarthy, what's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing. And even if they get control of the Senate, which is looking very doubtful now, you know what's going to happen? With Mitch McConnell? Nothing. Nothing. You see, at one point, voting mattered. But too many people out there didn't do that one simple thing. And they have ensured that our future may look worse than our past. Congratulations, folks. Glad you were so disgusted that you just got out of the system. For those of you who are still out there fighting a good fight, excuse me, you might mention this to those who are so disgusted. You might start holding them as responsible as the other side. You know why? The other side is doing what they should do. They're supporting their side. It's the people who claim to be on our side who aren't supporting it that are the problem. Think about it. This country needs a reversion more than it ever has before. It needs you to be a part of it. Now, talk to you later. Bye-bye.